across the area. Temperatures dropping into the mid-upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Wednesday afternoon into the upper 80s and lower 90s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Game 2 between the Braves and Pirates in Pittsburgh tonight. Atlanta a -275 moneyline favorite on the road. The Pirates at +225, the over-under at 8. College football underway this week with one SEC team in action Saturday as Vanderbilt travels to Honolulu to take on Hawaii. The Commodores opening as a 6.5-point road favorite, the over-under at 55. Final tune-up of the preseason for the New Orleans Saints as they will host the Chargers on Friday night, the first and only home game of the preseason schedule. New Orleans a 1.5-point favorite, 36.5 the over-under. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we say welcome into another brand new live edition, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond hanging out until 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Welcome in, 256-576-4977. That's how you can join the program and all the fun this morning on a Tuesday morning as we draw closer to that start of the college football season. The Week 0 edition of the college football season is quickly approaching. And how do you feel about your squad right now as you get ready for the new year? Are you optimistic and hopeful, or are you not so optimistic and not so hopeful for your team heading into the new year? I don't think anybody, when we go to SEC Media Days, Drew, everybody's optimistic. All the coaches are optimistic. Everybody's feeling optimistic. Now fall camps have pretty much broken all around the country. Teams are starting in-game preparations, starting their preparations for Week 0 and even beyond. And a realization starting to set in for some teams that this is going to be a year where we may only get 5 wins, 6 wins. And then there's realization for others that this team could be pretty good, that we could get 9, we could get 10, or we could be even a 4-team playoff team. Starting to set in a little bit with some realizations.
Well, a little bit, but I think it's everybody's optimistic until you play a game. You never know until you see your team out against another opponent. I think what everybody's ready to do is play somebody else in a different colored jersey. Certainly, especially now that the most of the scrimmaging is in the rearview mirror. Certainly, Vanderbilt will be taking the field before any SEC team. They'll be going out to Hawaii, not just for a vacation, but to play a game and to hopefully not embarrass the league. But certainly, they're going out there to play, and we'll be monitoring that game very closely because of Davian Davis and Malik Langham, the 2 D tackles in that 4-man front for Vanderbilt, both from this area. So certainly we'll be hoping that Vanderbilt can go on the road and get a big win. And then Jacksonville State, it'll be Rich Rod's first game at the helm of the Gamecocks. I believe they take on Stephen F. Austin in the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. So those will be 2 games that we'll be monitoring very closely. And then Dublin, Ireland. We talked about that yesterday. Big Ten game, Northwestern in Nebraska. It'll be really your first game kicking off across the pond. And Nebraska with Scott Frost is a team that everybody's kind of watching because he's probably reached the end of the line if Nebraska's not a bowl team. And the interesting part is with the local tie to our community is Logan Smothers will not be the quarterback, at least not initially for Nebraska. He was beaten out.
So Vanderbilt's projected win total is 2.5. Vanderbilt going over to Hawaii, a winnable ball game, you would think, for the Commodores to try to get something going positive in Clark Lee's second year as the head coach of the Commodores. How important then is this game with Van? I'm not talking about his hot seat or the pressure or any. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about how important is this game for Vanderbilt to start the new year.
Well, it's important because I think it's a winnable game, and you want to get off on the right foot. Last year was a struggle in year one. I think they went 2-10. So, you want to get a win against an opponent like this, against Hawaii, that's a group of 5 opponent, even if it's a road game. It's almost like a de facto vacation because you're getting a chance to go to Hawaii, but you're on a business trip to play a game. So, but certainly an SEC opponent should take care of Hawaii even on the road. Though we've seen Alabama fall to them back in the early 2000s, we've seen Hawaii upset some folks in bowl games when they get certain teams in their backyard. So we'll see. But certainly, when you look at it, it's a game that Vanderbilt, much like when they went to Colorado State last year and got a big win for them when of course they were able to win on a last-second field goal. That's what needs to happen. They need to find a way to win the game. It certainly wasn't pretty in Colorado Springs, but they got it done, and so that's what needs to happen here for Clark Lee in year 2 with Vanderbilt. And I know they were excited about their recruiting class and some of the talent they were able to attract. He was adamant about that at SEC Media Days. But when you look at Vanderbilt's schedule, and we've talked to Chris Lee about this, there's not a whole lot of, you just look at it and say W, but this is one of those where I think most will be picking Vandy to win. But again, we'll see. But like we said, last year got off to a little bit of a slow start because they lost to East Tennessee State, and that just really kind of put things behind the 8 ball.
Let a sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah, so you need to get off to a better start this year in this second-year staff, and so I think it's a winnable game, and Vanderbilt needs to pull out the W.
It's also a game of first for Hawaii, though. Remember this name, Timmy Chang.
Yeah.
Takes over as head coach. It'll be his first game as a head coach for Hawaii.
Well, Hawaii's had so many issues with their program, even talking about dropping it and everything else. I wasn't even sure who the head coach was. I knew that Nick Rolovich left to go a couple years ago to go to Washington State, but I think he's been fired at Washington State due to vaccinations and other dumbassery from the great federal government and some of the idiot Democrats over in those states. But you know how it is.
All right.
Another story for another day.
Clark Lee gives us his Hawaii update.
We talked this morning. We got to narrow our focus here. Focus on less. Right now, we got to focus on this trip on Sunday and beating the trip. Then we have to beat the week, which means, we're going to have activities, we're going to do community service, we're going to do some things that will build into us. But, we also can't allow them to serve as distractions. We have to beat the preparation, meaning we have to maintain a level of focus through the week. And then it'll be about beating the environment, which it'll be a harsh environment, and then making sure our team has self-mastery. And all that lines up to then say we can focus our attention on Hawaii and unleashing our preparation that way. But, we can't skip steps this week. We're going to have to, our team's going to have to be mature and handle it the right way, and I'm trusting them to do that.
All right, Clark Lee on his team's preparations for the new year. 256-576-4977. That's the number of the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on said conversation this morning. Around college football, as we get ready for the new year, some things to kind of think about, some things that we have mentioned here as we get ready. Which is more likely to happen, do you think, as the new year goes? How about this one? Scott Frost silences his critics with 8 wins this coming football season for Nebraska.
I mean, I would doubt it. I would probably say no. The program has never really gained traction under him. I don't know why the hell all of a sudden it would. I wouldn't have much faith in it. Nebraska seems to, the next time they gain traction will be when they get the hell out of the Big Ten and go back to the Big 12/Pac-12 when they merge. That's where they need to be going. They need to be trying to get out of Dodge, because I know they won't, because they're counting the 100 million or whatever the heck the rest of these jokes are going to get from that conference to still lose to the SEC. But yeah, I mean, because again, as was reported yesterday by Brett McMurphy, I know this is a shock to everybody, but Oregon and the Big Ten are sitting down, and Oregon's doing everything in their power to get out of the Pac joke and get into the Big Ten. And so, they all suck, but they're just, they want to cash a huge check from the Big Ten for $100 million and get out of Dodge, because the Pac-12 is teetering. I mean, I know their new commissioner thinks that, he can save it, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No. All right, what about this one? If you were rubbing your crystal ball, Notre Dame finishes outside the top 15.
I don't see that. I think that Marcus Freeman will have a good first year. Especially if they would upset the Sucks, right off the bat. I don't know if they'll do that, because everybody thinks the Sucks are going back to the playoffs and going, to the national championship game, with overrated Ryan Day in the head coaching job, when the real coach is at Cincinnati. But anyway, I don't know. That would set the tone for Notre Dame. I don't think they'll win that game, though. I do think Ohio State's supremely talented. And we'll talk, to Jake Crane about that later in the show. He picked them in his top 5. He went on record with his top 5 yesterday. And most people have Ohio State in the top 5. I think they're the big favorite in the Big Ten,
right?
Despite what Khaki Pants did to them last year, which was beautiful to watch. I think that Notre Dame will have a good team. I mean, I think their schedule is manageable. I don't think they'll finish out of the top 15. I think they'll probably finish within. Now, am I saying they're going to make the playoff? No, but I think they'll have, and what I mean by that is, if Notre Dame, say they go 9-3, I mean, I think they'll be in the top 15 and be in a above mid-level bowl game. I don't know if they'll be in a Big Six bowl, but they'll be in a good bowl game, and so, with a shot to win double digits in the first year under Freeman. So
I was going to say, I wouldn't be a bad transition.
They're recruiting very well, though they're going to lose Keon Keeley to Alabama, in my opinion. And they still are recruiting well. They've got a lot of momentum. And again, that's where it's kind of hard to predict, because it's like I told you, you want to see them play against a different colored jersey. We haven't seen Marcus Freeman's Notre Dame team. All we've seen is Brian Kelly's for 13 years or so.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see what his style of Notre Dame football looks like, but I still wouldn't bet that they would be outside the top 15. I think Brian Kelly, unlike the program he took over, which was a train wreck in a ditch by the Flex Master, he actually left Notre Dame with good players. I don't think he did like a dirt neck thing where he left Florida State in the ditch. And you've had 3 coaches trying to clean it up while he's over here motor mouthing and lying his ass off. But I mean, that's just typical of what scumbags do.
That leads us into this next one. Florida State goes bowling, saves Mike Norvell.
Well, I mean,
they think
they're going to be better. I mean, we were on our sister station, the Blitz Sports Radio. I talked to Keith Niebuhr yesterday, and we were talking Auburn, but it intertwined with Florida State, because there's a young man, Kedrick Falk, in the state of Alabama that's committed to FSU that Auburn still very much would like to sign. And he was telling me, he still has contacts at Florida State, and he's talking to them, seeing what they're thinking and everything. And he said, they think they're going to be a lot better. And you would hope so, because the first couple of years haven't been great. And again, but Keith made a good point. Like, people can talk about somebody being on the hot seat and stuff, but are they really?
Mike Norvell's not on the hot seat. Florida State doesn't have any money.
Well, that's what he was. That was his point. I mean, you had to fire Willie Disaster, and then we know what Dirtneck did, because Dirtneck ran it into the ground, and then Willie Disaster finished it off.
I was going to say.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So Mike Norvell is still cleaning up the mess. I mean,
I know Jimbo Fisher left him in a mess, but did Willie Taggart actually do more damage though than Jimbo Fisher?
Well, I don't know if he did more. He didn't do more damage. He just sort of helped it along. I mean, and
he added more gasoline to the fire.
It was like, it's like the Newhart show. With my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl, and they're all dumb. Well, see, that's the problem. They hired Willie Taggart. They hired the wrong guy.
Jimbo Fisher was the
okay.
Yeah,
exactly. He was the patriarch,
and
then Willie was the other brother Daryl, and it was a disaster. And so I don't know. We will find out if Mike Norvell ultimately is the other brother Daryl, because I think there was 2, if not 3.
There was 2 of them. There were 3 brothers.
Yeah.
There was 3 guys. So
the
Jimbo Fisher
and then 2 brothers.
Yeah. So
we don't know
Jimbo
yet
Fisher, Willie Taggart, and
we don't know
if Mike Norvell's the third brother.
Is the other brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. So we have to find out this year. Now again, it would have to go disastrously bad. I mean, like 3-9 or worse. I think for Florida State. To do something, but the thing is, I've been asked this, and it's probably the truth. Eventually, if they show enough progress and start digging their way out but can't get over the hump, and I'm talking about it, let's say it lasts 3 to 5 more years,
right?
And you're in a better financial situation, or at least you'll know there'll probably be some clarity on what conference you're going to be in, because there's already been speculation about Florida State potentially going to the SEC.
Well, that's because Florida State president about 2 days ago went on record and said he wants Florida State, and Florida State will be competitive, but they're also going to be aggressive in looking for a new home if needed.
Yeah.
So Florida State has gone on the record and said that, while they're content to stay in the ACC, if the ACC doesn't do something, Florida State is not going to sit idle and just do nothing. Florida State will explore its options, and that includes looking at the SEC or the Big Ten or somewhere. How about this one? Spencer Rattler, just one and done. He's a one and done South Carolina Gamecock.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, because now he may decide to leave and go pro.
That's where I'm going. Yes, good. Not transferring, but pro.
No, I don't think he'll transfer for sure, but I'm not sure that he's going to be able to do this one and done thing at South Carolina. I think he may need a couple of years to establish himself there, especially considering that his supporting cast isn't as good and they're trying to stabilize this program. And I know how hyped he was out of high school, but again, that's long in the rear view. I mean, you've got to play and produce consistently. And I think for him to maximize his pro potential, probably needs 2 years at a place, because he's never really put it together for more than not even a full season at Oklahoma, honestly. So he probably needs 2 years with the Gamecocks.
All right, coming up here in just a little bit, Vince Ferrara, our good friend sitting up there on Rocky Top, will join us, and we're going to talk some Tennessee football. Tennessee, here's one to ask. Tennessee will snap 2 streaks this coming season. They've got Florida, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia on the schedule this year. Tennessee will snap 2 streaks this coming season. Do you see that one happening?
You're talking about against Florida and against Alabama?
Florida, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia. Those are the 4. They haven't beaten, I don't think they've beaten LSU in a while.
Well, they don't play them regularly.
No, but I mean, they've got those 4: Florida, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia.
No, they're going to lose them all. Okay.
They're going to lose them all.
Yep. They're going 7-5. I don't believe in them. I don't think they can stop running water. So, I mean, see what they're so obsessed with, Hendon Hooker and this offense, and They keep trying to prop up the dude that's got 21 catches, and we talked about this yesterday. I thought he had no catches, but whatever. They can't get him eligible. But I think Tennessee's going to have a solid football team. And I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying I don't see them winning 9 or 10. I just don't. I know they're going to be good on offense. They should be if Hendon's healthy. But I just don't see them. I think they're going to lose a lot of, 48 to 45, 45 to 42, 38 to 35 type games is what I'm saying. They're going to score, but are they going to be able to stop the other team? That's my point.
All right, well, Vince Ferrara can help us figure all of that out here in just a little bit. When we come back, Vince Ferrara will join us from Knoxville, help us talk a little Tennessee football.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck northbound, 431 at Taylor Lane. That one's coming in as a no injury, but it may have lane blockage. Everything else looking pretty good this morning. You be careful on your trip in. Watch out for the fog if you got a long way to go. It may slow you down. Snelling needs an experienced machine operator. It's direct hire with excellent benefits. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes, Skywatch Traffic Center.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Bailey Custom Boats. We knew our boats were special when we would stop at any outdoor store to stock up on supplies for a boat trip, only to come back out to the parking lot and see people standing on and around our boat and a confused sales rep telling them it's not for sale and they don't even have that type of boat. Fast forward a few years, and now you can buy your very own one-of-a-kind Bailey Custom Boat. We hand cut our wood from cypress we pull from the river in Mississippi. There's a lifetime warranty on the bill. Faster and more maneuverable like a ski boat, and better fuel mileage than any pontoon on the market. With 350 horsepower, a Bailey Custom Boat will go 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. And our custom boats are Coast Guard approved for offshore and virtually unsinkable. We'll be showcasing our custom boats at different lakes over the next few weeks. Find out where at BaileyCustomBoats.com, on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We're taking orders now for 2023 delivery from April to May. You gotta pay to play. BaileyCustomBoats.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, hanging out until 9 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. And leading into break there, we were talking about, does Tennessee have it in them to snap a couple streaks this year? Possibly the Alabama game, possibly the Georgia game, possibly against LSU. Maybe it comes against Florida. Do they have it in them to snap 2 streaks? One of them, maybe. 2, what's the realistic possibility of them snapping 2 streaks? And we said Vince Ferrara could help us figure that out.
Yeah, Vince Ferrara, Sports Radio, WNML, the sports animal. He's with us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He's also part of the Vol IMG radio network and was a big part of what was an unbelievable baseball season in Knoxville. And, they fell a little short of Omaha, but every other goal, they win the regular season SEC championship, they win the SEC tournament. It just fell a little short against Link Jarrett and Notre Dame, and of course Link going on to Florida State to become their new head coach. But now we're going to talk some fall camp Tennessee football with Vince for a few minutes. Vince, welcome back to the show. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
Good, guys. How we doing?
We're doing well. And then I guess you monitor fall camp as closely as anyone for Tennessee. Where are we standing here? How healthy is this squad, first of all, because I still think there's some depth issues at places, and defensively, how confident is this staff that they've made progress? That's where I'm still not sold, Vince. I'm just not sold that Tennessee is going to make the jump to a 9-win team. I think they still may go a 7-5. I'm certainly not predicting them to take a backwards step. I think, especially if Hooker is healthy, they're going to score a lot of points. My problem is I just don't know if they can get stops.
Well, a couple things. First, in terms of the health, they had a couple of guys that have been, sitting out limited practice, but really their only season-long injury was to one of their running backs, which has impacted their depth, and Laneith Whitehead. Everybody else has missed some practices. Jalen Wright has been limited some. He's probably the number 2 running back. He was a pretty effective freshman last year. And then also Kamal Haddon, one of those more experienced guys, Auburn transfer in his second year. He has missed a fair amount of practice as well. Elijah Simmons, one of their defensive linemen, but that was a little bit more late in camp. They haven't had really any devastating injuries or key starters go down. I tell you, what's probably the biggest thing looming out there, and I imagine you guys were going to ask me about it, and that was Brew McCoy.
Yes, we were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, from an availability standpoint, he's had a really good camp. He looks good, looks the part, big, skilled. And so if he's eligible, then I think he's definitely a factor there. But, in fact, he may even be with the first team. The question is once you start into the game plan, and they have started game plan week, can you afford to take the chance to have him in there? They may need to ramp him back up, even if they do get him eligible before. And there's certainly some drama around that. But from a health standpoint, they're pretty good. From the defense, they've had some questions. I think they have a little bit more clarity at their star position with Tamarion McDonald, who is a pretty big star. He's a former safety, and I guess he does play some safety, but he's had an outstanding camp in summer. So he gives you some real nice size and athleticism, about 6'2" there at that star spot, 6'1", 6'2", And him and Wesley Walker, who is a Georgia Tech transfer in his first year, those are the two guys competing and done a nice job at that star. But it'll probably be McDonald. The corners are still a little bit more in question. Now, they have 16 scholarship DBs, so they have some guys there. Haddon is back, Brandon Turnage, a former Alabama DB, and Christian Charles, who's super freakish athletic. So they have some guys there. They don't sound overly worried about it, and I tell you what can help them on the back end a little bit is their pass rushers, Byron Young and Tyler Barron, have had really good camps. So if they can get more pressure on the quarterback, I think it'll help them not only not have to be in coverage quite as much, but not have Tim Banks send as many exotic blitzes as he has in trying to get pressure on the quarterback when they weren't able to generate pressure. So all of that is connected. I think Byron Young, he sounds and looks like a different guy. Barron as well. Ronnie Garner's reached him. So I think that's encouraging signs, at least kind of buy you some time on the back end.
Yeah, Josh Heupel also talking, though, about this is that tough part of camp where guys are starting to hit that wall.
Yeah, I think so. And you kind of, especially with the younger guys, you kind of see who has that inner fight in them, who has that quick adjustment. Maybe it's a 1 day wall, and then how do they bounce back, or do they go the wrong direction? So I think overall, though, it's been a lot of those things have been very positive. There have been some of those because they went through 15 camp practices. Now they're into the game week stuff, and they do mix in a few more days off late in practice. So even if guys do hit that wall, they should be able to bounce back, especially if they have the right makeup.
Well, I mean, Vince, with Brew McCoy, are they waiting on a waiver? Is it an academic thing? What is really the issue with getting him on the field?
No, it's the NPO form, which basically would keep the NCAA out of the loop.
Right.
It's an additional waiver form, and he's transferred a couple of times before.
Yeah.
But if you're basically signing off that you're good with him going. So USC put out the statement, which apparently they weren't going to initially, and then supposedly from the reporters that have worked on it said that they were getting so much negative feedback on it that they decided to make a statement public. So then they put out the statement publicly saying that they were good with Brew McCoy and him moving on to Tennessee, but them saying that and then not signing the form are two different, are not on the same page. So I don't know why they're holding on that. My biggest, other than being petty, I think the biggest thing might be that maybe their legal team sees something there. They don't want any sort of litigation on the back end. I'm trying to think why there would be any sort of litigation towards USC if you sign it and you free him up. But that would be the only thing I could think of. Now they've passed it on to the NCAA. Tennessee had to file an appeal, which they did. And then if the NCAA gets around to it, and we know how inconsistent they can be with their timeline, then it takes USC off the hook. Then it's the NCAA making the decision, not USC. That would be the only thing I can think of. But it's not a very good look for USC when the kid's already at Tennessee.
Yeah, and it doesn't look, unless something happens miraculously, the chances of him being on the field for Ball State in that opener looks pretty slim.
Well, I would say start is because Tennessee's unfortunately been through this before. Cade Mays, after he had transferred from Georgia, NCAA waited till a couple of days before the opener to rule him eligible. So he was able to play quickly after that. It's Ball State. The game's going to get out of hand. So and he has been practicing. He probably won't be able to start that first game, but if he's eligible, he's not going to have really that much catch up to do. He's just not going to be in their starting plan. So I think he could, if they rule him eligible the day before the game, he can still play Ball State. He won't be that far behind because he's been able to practice with them.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be worth monitoring. And then, well, speaking of wide receivers, I know the last time we spoke with you, he was already kind of creating a lot of buzz. How big a role from the jump against Ball State is Squirrel White going to play?
Well, I think that's an opportunity for him. He won't be a starter out of the gate, I don't think.
Right.
He could very well have one or two of those splash plays, either on offense or special teams, where the coaches are gonna have to look at him and say, "Whoa, okay, well maybe he is ready. Maybe we just need to get him on the field, even if he needs to fine tune his route running or different things like that." But man, it's crazy how much his teammates talk about how tough he is. They talk about how fast he is first, but the next thing out of their mouth is how tough he is. He's just got this attitude like, yes, I'm smaller than you. Yes, you think you're better than me because you're bigger than me, but I'm tougher than you. And he has that mentality, and I think that will bode well for him when he's going to come across some freshman adversity. But man, it's just a different level of speed with that kid. So I think he won't. I don't think he'll start, but I think he'll play, and it wouldn't surprise me if he starts making splash plays as quickly as week one.
Vince, is there a position that you can sit there and look at through camp that you feel like the coaches are surprised from everything that you've heard from Heupel and company, that they're a little bit more, I mean, they're pleased with the progress that the position group is at, that maybe they weren't expecting to see some positive stuff out of?
Since your question, Scott, I think not surprised because those guys recruited them and I'm sure had expectations for them. I think the wide receivers have had a really good camp. I mean, of course, that would include an eligible Brew McCoy, but I think there's some good candidates. Walker Merrill was a sophomore, had a really good camp. Jalen Hyatt seems like a different player, and a lot of us expected him to kind of be the number two behind Cedric Tillman. I think they like all their freshmen, including Squirrel White. So I think that, and adding Brew McCoy, I think that's a group that's come along pretty well, even though in actual games it's still improving, and that won't change till they get going. So I think the other one that maybe has come together pretty well that I'll mention is linebacker, and the biggest thing is because they have more bodies there. There were times where Tennessee only had 3 healthy linebackers that either could play or they were willing to play last year. And that's when they were that's for a majority of the time. There was a couple of games where they only had 2, and they roll a 4-2-5. So that means guys playing the whole time. Now they have Juwan Mitchell, the second-year Texas transfer, who missed most of last year after starting the year as the linebacker. He is back. He is healthy. He's had a really good camp, different body. I think he's going to start alongside Jeremy Banks, and those will be your 2 linebackers. Now your 2 guys that played a whole bunch last year in Beasley and Page, now they can be depth experience guys. So, and they have a couple of freshmen, including Elijah Herring, who they really like that they're planning to rotate into. So now you go from 2 or 3 to 4 or 5. So that position, I think, has come along pretty well at linebacker as well during camp.
Yeah, no question. And in your mind, Vince, for this football team on either side of the ball, even in special teams, coming out of camp, as you said, they seem to be healthy for the most part. They've got to get the Brew McCoy situation rectified. What are the biggest questions now that we've got fall camp nearly in the rear view for Tennessee?
Well, I think definitely it's corner. To me, they're still rolling first and second team guys in there. I don't think that's going to be decided until into the season once they see what guys do in games. And the other one is left tackle. And their starting left tackle last year is Darnell Wright, a former 5-star from West Virginia. And he had a pretty good season. He gives them 4 of their 5 returning starters on the O-line, but they moved him to right tackle, and Heupel and Golish are saying that they likely will keep him there at right tackle. It's where he's the most comfortable. And then the two guys that are competing at left tackle are J.J. Crawford, a former JUCO, who played very sparingly last year trying to get acclimated, and then Gerald Mincey, who is a transfer from Florida in his first year at Tennessee, who's a massive human being. So those two guys haven't really been able to separate from each other. That's another competition that's going to go into the season and see how they do. You know how coaches are; they're always going to say, "Well, we're going to need everybody." You know, so yeah, but you're not going to play everybody. So you need some continuity on that line, and they're not going to really be able to get it until they get into the season. The thing is that with this offense, you can mask a little bit of that because of the tempo and the pace. And so their offensive line coach said, we will rotate some guys in. So maybe the typical, you want to get your 5 guys and get that chemistry. I think maybe that's not as much of a factor with this team, with this offense. But that's another position. If they're not good, that will be a problem in Hendon Hooker's blind side, because it's not like they have a ton of other proven options behind them. So those are the two biggest positions to me: cornerback, both the spots, and then left tackle on offense.
Well, Vince, we are just about a week away. Thursday. Balls get to open up on a Thursday night. What are they going to do? Obviously, they've had their 2 scrimmages. What lies between now and next Thursday for Josh Heupel?
Well, it's game week, even though it's not a traditional just 7 days of game week, or I guess 6 days after you play a game. But they've sprinkled, and they started on Saturday with their, air quote, game week, and they've sprinkled in some off days too. You had 15 days of camp where you're going almost every day, or about 5 days a week. So you want to get guys healed up and ready. So that's the biggest thing. We're going to talk to Alex Golish this morning. Then tomorrow, Tim Banks. And by the way, it's the second time we've had him available in the preseason. And then Tim Banks, we'll talk to him tomorrow, in 6 players. So now it's a matter of knocking those things out, and then Heupel will talk once more before the game, and we're ready to roll. So it's rest and game plan for Ball State at this point, and it's right now, it's the anticipation, and you know how it is with fans. Closer you get to the season, the more those win totals start to rise for the expectations.
Well, and Vince, I would think too. We've kind of talked about this before you came on to kind of. I think for Tennessee, if they want to make that jump to a 9-win team in Josh Heupel's second year, it comes down to Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Florida. And do they need to split those 4?
If they split those 4, they're probably going 10-2, and I think that's a little ambitious for Tennessee. Jimmy Himes, actually, it's funny that you guys are bringing this up to me, because I'm on Sports Talk, our afternoon show this week, and he was lightning round questions to me, and one of them was, can Tennessee win those 4 games that they have long losing streaks against, LSU, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama? And I said maybe 1. But 2 to me means 10-win season, which is strong for me. I can get into the 8 or 9 conversation. That's where I'm at. But 10, even if it's LSU and Florida, you're going to lose some of your other 50-50 games if you're good enough to win, to me, the 2 toughest of your 50-50 games. So, I mean, they'd have to have some disappointing losses to not go 10-2 if they beat LSU and Florida. LSU's on the road, Florida at home. Worst Florida teams have given them issues. I think Florida is the most winnable of those. I think LSU is probably the toughest of their 50-50 games, which is 5 games on their schedule. But I think that's going to be a little bit too big of an ask right now. You mentioned the defense, and I think the defense is the key to whether you get to 9 wins or have a special season. Last year they were 99th in defense, in total defense. at 421 yards given up per game. If they get to 385, 390 a game, which not a massive jump, that brings you to 75, 76, 80 in the country. That's where Oklahoma was. So you can have a really good team and be above 75 in total defense when your offense is as good as Tennessee or Oklahoma or a few others. They can't be 99th in the country and be improved, but if they can shave 30, 40 yards and some points off of last year's total and not be horrible on defense, with this offense and Hooker in his second year running the show and being the leader and having improved depth where you're not keeping guys on the field for 100 snaps a game, I think that's the key. Just a little bit of improvement, even though they still have some questions. You just can't be awful on D.
Well, great stuff from Vince Ferrara, giving us a fall camp report as Tennessee is undergoing the final preparations for Ball State, and will in just a little over a week we'll be taking the field in Neyland Stadium. But, well, we appreciate it, my friend. Let everybody know how to follow your work.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. So it's great to talk to you at Vince Sports on Twitter, VINCE Sports. You can follow us on social media. The station, Sports Animal 991 station website has tons of content. You can watch video for every open practice we had, highlights of it, all the interviews, all that. If you want to study up more on Tennessee sports, 991thesportsanimal.com, and I'll have blogs and balls in the NFL, SEC, all kinds of fun content. Predictions will go up there soon. So all that kind of stuff on the website.
Thank you, Vince.
Thanks, Vince.
All right.
Let's get that break in when we come up. Wrap up hour one. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck northbound, 431 at Taylor Lane. That one's coming in as a no injury, but it may have lane blockage. Everything else looking pretty good this morning. You be careful on your trip in. Watch out for the fog if you got a long way to go. It may slow you down. Snelling needs an experienced machine operator. It's direct hire with excellent benefits. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes, Skywatch Traffic Center.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
There's the knee, and Alabama has again done the job. You know, folks, the more things change, the more they remain the same. Alabama is still Alabama.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Stan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi everybody, Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
What's happening? What's happening?
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And we're always in need of some positive, fun news. Always need something to do this. And Andy Kennedy of UAB helps provide this and helps us with this here. UAB, Hutch Moore is his name. He's a 2-time cancer survivor, and Hutch actually lives here in Huntsville. He is from Huntsville. And Andy Kennedy, the UAB Blazers, UAB students, all started back to class this past week. And with the help of somebody else from Huntsville, Andy Kennedy spread some cheer. Come on, Internet. Let me just restart this here. Let's see if we can get this to play. Where is it? Here we go. Here it is.
Good morning, good morning. How are we?
Oh my gosh,
Oh my God. I'm Andy Kennedy. I'm the basketball coach here. I wanted to welcome everyone. Anybody here from Huntsville, Alabama? Oh, a lot of Huntsville people. Keep your hands up. Anybody from Huntsville that goes by the name of Hutch? Hutch, come here and see me for a second. It's my understanding that you're a basketball fan. Is that true?
I am, Coach.
Hutch, I hope you're not the only one. Is there anybody else in here that's a basketball fan? I hope to see you in Bartow Arena. We'll make you one if you'll come watch our team. Hutch, I'm Andy Kennedy.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Man, it's great to see you.
I appreciate that.
And I'm going to tell you, I've got one question. If you can answer this question, we're going to offer you the opportunity to be a part of our program. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right, you ready? You concentrate?
I'm concentrating.
You know that, Derek?
Tony.
Hey, great to meet you. Great to meet you. Come see us. Come see us when this class is over. We certainly don't want to take you away now. A lot of important stuff about this. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So Hutch Moore is from here in Huntsville, a 2-time cancer survivor. Andy Kennedy and former Mae Jemison standout Tony dropped in on class, presented Hutch with a game jersey, invited him to be a part of the program and everything. So just spread a little bit of cheer.
That's a great move right there. Just a class thing to do by Andy Kennedy and Tony, by the way. Former Mae Jemison Jaguar, played for Jack Doss certainly, and Howard Pride. Howard Pride back at the helm of the Mae Jemison Jaguars. We're certainly happy about that. Yeah, just an outstanding show of gratitude to help that young man by Andy Kennedy, and certainly they're coming off of an NCAA tournament berth of their own. A lot of expectations for the Blazers. They've done so well football-wise and basketball that they're getting ready to move to the AAC, which is a really good move for them.
Yeah.
They just opened a basketball practice facility, as you know, Scott, last year that was built for Andy Kennedy's program. They've got progressive field now, too, for football. Now, the only unfortunate thing that they've hit is the adversity with Bill Clark and his health situation, with his back. Now, we'll see where that goes long term, but you hate to see him have to step away. But certainly UAB football has been, the Blazers have been a remarkable story since Bill Clark recranked that program up. They've been a perennial bowl team, basically the best program in Conference USA. And they've been so good that they've gotten a chance now to move up the ladder.
Yeah.
And so, and it's funny how, one program moves up and it opens up an opportunity for another. It's opened it up for Jacksonville State to come to the Conference USA.
Yeah, Jacksonville State making that move up and taking basically UAB's spot in Conference USA. All right, we are just about done. We're not quite done with hour one of Talking Ball, but the phone lines are going to be open to you to start hour number 2, 256-576-4977. And when we kick off hour number 2, we're going to talk some Big Ten Pac-12 because there was news yesterday. Lou Holtz gives Brian Kelly some advice.
Right.
We will hear from said Lou Holtz. Plus, we'll also bounce around the rest of the league and kind of get you updated on some of the other camp going-ons from around the SEC. Really no big surprises, I don't think, around the league. I think everything right now is smooth sailing. We haven't really had any kind of big headlines come out of any fall camp. I don't think for anybody. I mean, LSU had the suspensions and stuff, but we dealt with that yesterday. Just about done with hour number 1. Plus, we got to throw in some Braves baseball as well. The AP preseason All-America team was announced yesterday. Of course, Alabama leading the way there. On defense, no surprise, Will Anderson, Eli Ricks, and Jordan Battle, your first team AP All-Americans. And then on offense, Bryce Young headlines that for Alabama on the offensive side. Surprised with Eli Ricks being first team AP All-American?
A little bit, but they're assuming what he did as a freshman when he was healthy at LSU. He wasn't healthy last year as a sophomore with the Bayou Bengals, and he's transferred to Alabama and not been healthy and also been learning the scheme. But he is a 5-star talent from IMG Academy. I think they're eventually thinking he's going to figure it out, and he may very well. But I'll say this, he's not going to start this season at corner for Alabama. I think he'll be a backup and have to earn his way onto the field.
All right, that's going to do it for hour 1. We'll talk more about that and everything else. Hour 2, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up. As the dog days of summertime ease into, well, halftime and tailgating season, Brooks & Collier's Labor Day sale can bring your outdoor entertaining to life. While most places struggle to have furniture in stock, Brooks & Collier is packed with outdoor patio furniture and grills like the Big Green Egg and Traeger. Buy now and receive deferred interest with Synchrony Bank and 18 months to pay it off. Lucy and Ivy say, Nosy on in and make the most of your outdoors. Brooks and Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Deferred interest offer valid 8/31 through 9/6.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They have some congestion around 231 and Carringer Road. That's a medical emergency. Got a wreck with injuries on Kimberly Lou Boulevard at Slater Court. That's off Homer Nance. And we had one at Jordan and Oakwood with an overturned vehicle that they may still be trying to clear. The Cajun rice is back at Popeyes, and their 11-piece chicken family meal, 2 sides, 5 biscuits, is now only $22.99. Popeyes, University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff, and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid-80s. A couple of scattered showers are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. Not everybody's going to get wet. Not everybody's going to get wet at the exact same time. We could also see a couple of thunderstorms hang out across the area. Temperatures dropping into the mid-upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Wednesday afternoon into the upper 80s and lower 90s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Game 2 between the Braves and Pirates in Pittsburgh tonight. Atlanta a minus 275 moneyline favorite on the road. The Pirates at plus 225, the over-under at 8. College football underway this week with one SEC team in action Saturday as Vanderbilt travels to Honolulu to take on Hawaii. The Commodores opening as a 6.5-point road favorite, the over-under at 55. Final tune-up of the preseason for the New Orleans Saints as they will host the Chargers on Friday night, the first and only home game of the preseason schedule. New Orleans a 1.5-point favorite, 36.5 the over-under. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We are hanging out for another hour, so you can join the fun. 256-576-4977. That's the number of the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And we were just going over the first team preseason All-American team. Bryce Young, your offensive quarterback. Bijan Robinson, Trayvon Henderson, your running backs, Texas and Ohio State. Ohio State has a couple guys there on that offensive side. Kayshon Boutte from LSU on there, the wide receiver, as is Jordan Addison from USC and Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State. Defensively, Will Anderson Jr. is on that list. Eli Ricks, Jordan Battle, Texas A&M, Antonio Johnson.
Who?
Antonio Johnson is on that list as well. By the way, my Iowa Hawkeyes have 2 defensive players on the first team all preseason.
I don't even know who the hell Antonio Johnson is.
Well, Keely Ringo.
What position
from Georgia,
does he play?
Safety.
Is he a safety?
He's a safety.
Lord, I hadn't seen a DB from Texas A&M be very good for a long time.
Well, he's on there.
I mean, you know, if Alabama could have run routes last year properly, of course they got rid of some of those clowns. That wouldn't even have been an issue of losing the game. But, hey, you know, when you have to get rid of some worthless people, you do.
Trim the fat, right?
Yep.
Is that what we're doing? Just trimming the fat.
I won't say what I said once before. Somebody got offended.
Oh, boy. It's your democratic right.
Well, I mean, you know, thank the Lord I'm not one.
I didn't I just said it's your democratic right to say what you want to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's everybody's
I know.
free
We don't
speech.
mean to. Yes.
Yeah, you know.
All right. So speaking of what you want and what you can and cannot have, apparently Oregon wants to dip their toe into what USC and UCLA is getting, and that is $100 million because
they do.
This is no secret, they reached out to the Big Ten.
This has been going on for a while. I don't even know why this is some sort of revelation. I would say Washington's going to follow suit.
They did it again, and they met in Chicago. Now, it is worth noting that outgoing Oregon president, their AD, and Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren were not involved in the discussions, but Oregon reached out to the Big Ten again to initiate conversations to have Oregon joining the Big Ten. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we all know the Big Ten just signed their new television rights, right?
Right.
If Oregon, now, the Big Ten does want Oregon, or they want 3 or more Pac-12 schools to come along because they want to help alleviate the travel costs for USC and UCLA. So if they can get Oregon and they can get Washington, that would give them 4 Pac-12 schools. They could keep Oregon and they could keep them on the West Coast a little bit longer. And if teams travel out there, you could make it
go on a
little
swing.
bit, yeah, you could make it a little easier. But the new media rights deal, if said schools from the Pac-12 join, there's already an agreement that they could just up the ante just a little bit. But if Notre Dame is to join the Big Ten, there is a set amount of money that the new networks, Fox, NBC, and CBS, have to pay the Big Ten. There's already a monster set amount if Notre Dame is to join. If the others join, they're just going to sprinkle in a little bit more cash. So that is worth noting there. So Oregon, presumably on the future, will be in the Big Ten, I would say sooner than later. 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on said conversations this morning if you want. And this is kind of interesting because we were talking about the Big Ten. And we all know the SEC right now, when we talk about the new year and we talk about making the college football playoffs, right now we mention Alabama, we mentioned Georgia. We've seen LSU make a surprise run to the college football playoffs. We tend to put Texas A&M in there. I know you don't, and they haven't proven that they could get there yet. But year in and year out, they're in the discussion of possibly getting there. Billy Napier's trying to get Florida back to being a playoff contender. So the SEC has proven that they are the best college football conference because of that. The Big Ten has Ohio State. Michigan made it last year. Why is it that we put the Big Ten as the second best conference in America when Ohio State tends to be the only school that we pencil in each year?
Well, I mean, I just think overall, it's the state of college football right now. It's the SEC and everyone else. You could put them all in a bag and shake them up and throw them out there. I mean,
the ACC and the Big Ten just put them in there, and the Big 12 all in one.
Pretty much, they all suck.
Well, the Big Ten doesn't because I mean they've gotten teams. I mean they've gotten consistently teams in there.
Well.
I'm just saying. I mean, why is it when we look at the Big Ten?
They haven't won it since 2014 when Urban Meyer coached. So, I'm just saying. And most of the time, they've gotten shellacked. I mean, at least the ACC with Clemson. Yeah, Clemson's road was easier. There's no question about that. But at least they've won multiple championships.
Is Ohio State's road similar to Clemson's to get into the playoffs each year, or do you think it's a little steeper?
It's a little steeper. Probably a little harder and they tend to gag. I mean, that's probably Ohio State's biggest issue is they tend to choke. I mean, 1 year it's Michigan State, even though they claimed they were the best team. That was when they were trying to defend the 2014 fluke. And,
last year it could have been Oregon. I mean, you
Yeah.
could have said Oregon. I mean, that was not an embarrassing loss, but that was a
choke.
Yeah.
At home, in the shoe. We'll see if they can keep it from doing it against Notre Dame. But that's been the problem for Ohio State. I think they've had talent every year, but they tend to gag. And then last year, Michigan just ran them over.
Literally.
I mean, seriously.
Literally just ran them over.
Just ran them over. I mean, Ohio State couldn't be any softer than they were last year.
They got a new defensive coordinator this year, so
Well,
we'll see if that.
can
We'll see
fix
if that.
it.
Well, yeah, we'll see if that can fix.
I mean,
a lot of
I
things.
still think they have talent, no doubt about it. But I'm still not as convinced with this head coach that they have in place that they're not going to be soft. Now they're going to be skilled, and they're going to have wide receivers, and they're going to be able to throw it around with Stroud, and this running back's good. They should be balanced. But can they stop enough people? It's almost like a better version of Tennessee.
Okay.
Because Tennessee is going to be able to score.
Right.
But are they going to be able to stop anybody? But, of course, if Tennessee were in the Big Ten, they might, honestly have a chance to make the playoff.
Would you take a Ryan Day or a Josh Heupel as your head coach to pick if you were forced to have one of those two?
I would take C.
You wouldn't take either one of them?
No. I would take C.
I would take Josh Heupel over Ryan Day.
Well, Ryan Day's at least played for a national championship, so you would probably have to take Day.
He walked into a better situation.
But I would
as
take
well.
C.
You wouldn't take either one of those.
No. I'd take Matt Rule of the Carolina Panthers.
Would you take a Brian Kelly?
Yes. I would take, if he were C, I would take him.
All right, well, Lou Holtz.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lou Holtz. Take a listen to this from Lou Holtz.
I rate Brian Kelly maybe 8 positive letters during his time at Notre Dame. And I go to the mailbox every day hoping I'm going to find an answer. He never responded to one of them. So, but that's his choice. I answered every letter that came into Notre Dame. When you get a nasty letter, you write, Dear Jim. Just thought you ought to know that some idiot's writing this letter, signing your name, and hurt your reputation. I'd find out who it is and put a stop to it. But Brian Kelly didn't believe in that. And I'm sure he'll be very successful at LSU. He's been everywhere. But he's going to find out he's not going to be playing Toledo. He's not going to be playing Marshall. This conference is a little bit different.
No, he's not, but he's also going to have better resources than the great Notre Dame Fighting Irish coach. But, hey, man, you won the last one. There was no HD TV. Just remember that, bro.
He was the
He's
last
still
one.
bitter that he gagged against Florida State, too, in 93, because he thought he had him another one. And he was still bitter about that. It was beautiful. Tom Coughlin's a good human. He saved us all the bull crap. I saw something on, some podcast the other day on YouTube or something, some clown Notre Dame idiot sitting here talking about it's just a matter of time before we reclaim our glory.
All right, so you
that we're
bring
still Notre Dame, and we're Notre Dame, and that's why we can get $75 million to stay as a independent.
So you bring that up.
Who cares?
Since 2018, Notre Dame, by the way, because Notre Dame was, I don't know why, but Notre Dame was trending yesterday, and I don't understand why. Notre Dame is 44-7 since the start of 2018. Those 7 losses, 2 come from Alabama, 1 from Clemson, 1 at Georgia, 1 at Michigan, 1 versus Cincinnati, and 1 versus an 11-win Oklahoma State team. So Notre Dame is 44-7 since 2018.
They're back to being relevant. It's just I don't know if they can ever get over the top.
Why do people call them then overrated?
Well, because they're still not winning the championship, and because of the arrogance of Notre Dame. because of the NBC contract, because of the win one for the Gipper, because of Newt Rockne, because of all that crap. You know what I'm saying? And if you ever, look, I wasn't there, you were, but I had friends that were. Just like they assumed they were going to beat Alabama in 2012, they didn't realize it was going to be a scrimmage.
Look, I'm telling you right now. Okay, so we go into the very first press conference for those. We were leading up to that BCS National Championship game.
Right.
And what it is one day the offense from Alabama comes in and they bring the offensive coordinator and 2 players or 3 players, and then the opposing team's defense comes in. And then it's vice versa the next day. And then you have media day where everybody, the whole entire team, is in the building at the same time. Anybody can be
talked to,
yeah. And so Alabama's offense comes in, and they got their offensive linemen in there. And then you see Notre Dame's offensive line come in.
Mm-hmm.
And you are like, folks, I'm telling you right now, everybody was like, well, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a close one. There's no way in heck that was going to be close. I mean, you walked in and you saw the size difference between the 2 teams, and you were like, where is the real Notre Dame? I mean, this cannot be the real team. This cannot be this. Seriously.
Yeah, they were the hee-haw song going through your mind, you know?
It was like walking into a room and seeing a varsity team and a JV team on 2 different ends, and you were just kind of like...
It's like Roy Clark. Huh? Where, oh, where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? I've worked the world over and thought I found true love, but you met another and you were gone. And they were fixing to be gone. They sure was.
Oh, no. I don't know Roy Clark. Am I supposed to
know? Hey, that was when I was a kid, you know?
Okay. All right, Pat from Tuscaloosa.
When Notre Dame actually won a championship.
Pat from Tuscaloosa with us. Good morning, Pat.
I know Pat probably knows what I'm talking about. He probably watched Seahawks.
I was, absolutely. And I was there in the club area there Miami, and I was sitting next to the Leprechaun. Hey, I was on the internet for over 6 months. People would go on the internet and look at pictures of that game, and they'd see me. Because I asked him, I said, did you wear that crap through the airport? And he said, yeah. And I looked at him, and they caught me with my face like, wow. Oh, man. Hey, they were so small. They didn't look like they looked like a Division I team. I'm not Division I, but a Division III team playing a Division I team is what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, leading up that whole week, it was. I mean, I remember doing all that stuff, and everybody was like, well, the experts. I mean, this Notre Dame team. I mean, they're physical, they're tough. I mean, all the lead up was everything, and you just kept going day by day, and you would go to practice. And we would go to practice, and we'd watch it, and we'd just be like, I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Well, the worst thing was they were wearing shirts that said the Mobile Homers against the Golden Domers.
Wow.
The Mobile Homers against the Golden Domers. Hey, I mean, these people actually thought they had a chance. And I couldn't get over. I mean, I knew that they didn't have a chance in Hades to begin with. There wasn't any way.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I mean, they should have lost to Pitt during the regular season, and a Pitt team that was mediocre, and they were very lucky to survive. So in overtime, so I just felt like Alabama was going to crush them, and it was a glorious night. I can just tell you that.
Hey, but what I called you guys about down here, they're raising Cain on the radio about Alabama getting a sponsorship or something from Hooters. And hey, I was bent out of shape when they rolled a NASCAR or some kind of crap out on the field 10 or 12 years ago. I mean, does the university just got to prostitute themselves for every dollar they can possibly get? It bends me out of shape when you look up at the big screen in the corners of the field. They just made them bigger But hey, the poor fans, and that's what's going to happen, even in Alabama, with the fans that don't have great seats, that can't afford lower bowl seats, and they look to try to see the game, and they've got advertising all around the screen versus showing them the full size of the big screen. I just gets me that Alabama or any other university has got to get every penny they can. I mean, they got banners that go all around the field. Why can't they be happy with the banners? You know, why do they have to have that kind of advertising around the screens? Because I mean, they're making major billions of dollars that are being paid to these universities from advertising throughout the country.
Well, I know the Hooters deal. That came out yesterday, and I think that was all Hooters did was sign 50. They signed 51 offensive linemen to name, image, and likeness deals.
Yeah,
that's what the Hooters deal was.
And a thing wrong with that. I mean, these people down here, we live in the middle of how you say, the Bible Belt. We got a bunch of nutcases that people are going to go to Hooters and eat chicken wings regardless of what happens, you know?
Yeah, they are. But you know, I don't think their wings are as good as what they used to be. I'll just say that.
No, of course not. Hey, I mean, it's the same thing.
As overrated as Notre Dame.
If McDonald's didn't advertise, nobody would go to McDonald's. They second only to Coca-Cola in advertising in the world, you know?
Yes.
It's terrible.
Yes.
Right, anyway, hey, you guys have a blessed day. I just wanted to let y'all know that they're raising Cain about Hooters down here.
Thanks for the call, Pat. I'm laughing because Drew just did a good one.
Yeah.
Hooters overrated like Notre Dame. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that was the question that was asked yesterday. Why do we look, and it was all over Twitter and every stuff, and all these experts are starting to weigh in, you know, is Notre Dame, why are we underrating or why are we overrating constantly Notre Dame? Why are they that lightning rod for being overrated or underrated? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Jake Crane can help us. Maybe he can touch on that.
We'll find out from Jake Crane of Crane & Company, the co-host of one of the fastest rising shows in the United States. He'll join us next when we come back from break here on Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They have some congestion around 231 and Carringer Road. That's a medical emergency. Got a wreck with injuries on Kimberly Lou Boulevard at Slater Court. That's off Homer Nance. And we had one at Jordan and Oakwood with an overturned vehicle that they may still be trying to clear. The Cajun rice is back at Popeyes, and their 11-piece chicken family meal, 2 sides, 5 biscuits, is now only $22.99. Popeyes, University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
New message. Hey, girlfriend, it's Carol from jury duty. We never actually spoke, but I saw you ordered the same hoagie as me at lunch. What are the chances? Anywho, I heard you just got a boat. We should totally grab some hoagies and take it out for a spin.
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Do I want to feel the wind in my hair? Guilty as charged. Oh, seriously, let's ride on your boat.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Hello, this is Kerry Rosenblum Realty, and we're part of that MA family. It's great to see football season back in. And, we're at Rosenblum Realty trying to take care of all your real estate needs, whether home buying or selling. We'd like for you to put our 64 years of experience to work for you. We have 4-generation family ownership, and again, take a personal touch to taking care of your real estate needs. Call us at 256-539-9501 or rosenblumrealty.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at ChapmanCommercialRealty.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talking Ball with Scott and Drew.
Oh, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I was saying 1971 because
you were trying to figure out when Notre Dame was actually a national champion. That's why you were saying 19-something.
No, I was saying 1971 because I learned that coming up this weekend, Lee High School is having the class of 1971 reunion, and that class there featured some big time names. I mean, Condridge Holloway, part of that class. So big time stuff there. Anyway, before the break, we were talking about Notre Dame.
Yes.
Why do we constantly call them overrated, or why do we constantly call it underrated for Notre Dame, or overachieving or underachieving? We've talked about Tennessee. Can they finally win not one but two games against teams that they have really long losing streaks this year? We've thrown a lot at everybody on this Tuesday.
Yes, we have, and we're going to throw some things at our next guest, who is host of one of the fastest rising national shows in the United States. We were able to connect with him in Atlanta at SEC Media Days, and we've connected with him throughout his rise, and he's, of course, now, as we know, host of Crane & Company, and he does a great job on the dailywire.com, and of course they are featured now. I believe now they're on each morning. They had been a YouTube show that you could catch from 2 to 3 p.m. Central Time, but now they are on at 6:30 a.m. So he's going to have to be an early riser. But it's always great to have Jake Crane on with us and to give us some thoughts on college football, Notre Dame, and Nebraska. We've been talking about Scott Frost this morning, but Jake's with us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jake, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys, glad to come back on. Yeah, it's kind of, I coached for 9 years, so getting up early, kind of getting back in my routine a little bit, but now just really excited, man. I'm so excited for college football season in general. I don't care if it's Austin Peay playing Western Kentucky or some Division IV game with, against kids from the middle of nowhere. I'm just excited we got it back.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It starts this week, and when we started the show, we were talking about Vanderbilt's trip to Hawaii, and we were talking about it. The expectations around Vanderbilt are not, 8 wins, 9 wins. It's to be better than they were last year. So how important is this game with Hawaii for Clark Lee right out of the gates?
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's year 2 for Clark Lee. Obviously, Vanderbilt tried to supplement the roster as well as they could, and every win counts when you're just hoping to make a bowl game. Now, I will say this. Playing at Hawaii is not easy. If I was, ever an AD or in charge of scheduling, I got a couple rules. Number one, never schedule a triple option team. Don't care how good they are. Don't care how bad they are. I'm not dealing with it. Number two, don't go to Hawaii because typically you got to be out there for 4 days, and trying to keep kids from getting distracted in Hawaii is like trying to keep a 10-year-old from getting distracted in an arcade. It's just tough to do. But it's huge for them this year. Again, momentum's the real thing. I'm looking at the under right now. I know Hawaii ended last year scoring a lot of points, but they've had some turnover. But it's going to be interesting to see how Vandy, from kind of an identity, goes into year two with Clark Lee. So it's as massive as any first game is. It's just a tough place to play.
Yeah, no doubt. It is a very tough place to play. We even talked about that. I mean, it's just the distractions are just numerous there. It'll be Timmy Chang's debut, the former Hawaii quarterback. We'll see what happens there. Also wanted to ask you about Nebraska. Does Scott Frost survive? Because this game they've got coming up in Dublin is huge for him. They've got to win this game, I think.
Oh, it's massive. We opened with the show with it today. I think he's got to win 8 games or he's going to get let go. And if he wasn't Scott Frost, I don't think he would still be at Nebraska. And a few numbers that I talked about this morning that are just absolutely mind-boggling. He's 15-29 overall. That's the worst win percentage of any Nebraska head coach since 1961. So basically 70 years. They have struggled mightily in games that they should have won. They haven't really won any big ones. They haven't been to a bowl since 2016, and coming off a 3-9 year, it's just amazing to see how far Nebraska has fallen. But I will say they do have their most manageable schedule they've had since he's been there, but that's not an excuse. Before this, you add the Mathis kid, the pass rusher from TCU, that you desperately needed. They couldn't get to the quarterback if they were picking him up in an Uber last year. The offense, people don't realize, was number 2 in total offense in the Big Ten, yet they only scored 30 points twice against Fordham and Northwestern. So this is the make-or-break year. I think he's got to win at least 8. They've got to beat Wisconsin at home. They've got to beat Minnesota at home. It's going to be tough to get there, but it is manageable. And, I hope he does well. Scott's a good guy. He does things the right way. I just don't know why he's out here bragging about how many times his offensive line throws up. You're not getting ready. You're not coaching cross country.
Yeah, we talked about that too. I mean, why are you talking about your
Who has a longer road though to get back to relevance, Florida State or Nebraska?
That's a good question.
Man, the thing is, Nebraska's not hurting for facilities. They'll spend money for facilities. So to me, it's Florida State. Until Florida State makes the commitment. Why didn't Mario take that Miami job outside of having played there? They made a commitment to him. The billionaire Ruiz guy said, all right, we'll build you a $100 million practice facility. You want an on-campus stadium? We'll get right on that. And Florida State, I don't know what they're spending their money on, but it sure as hell isn't football resources. That's one of the reasons that Jimbo couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah, and that's another reason why Mark Stoops wouldn't go there. Who would have ever thought, and I know Jeff from the Borough is probably listening, he's going to call in and rant and rave again about him, not getting offered the job. But think about that. Mark Stoops was their DC under Jimbo, and they have better facilities at Kentucky football-wise than they do at Florida State.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I just don't understand. Now, I'm not crunching the numbers at Florida State. I'm not an accountant, but I'm pretty sure they have money. But I'll tell you when they'll make that commitment. Probably after this year, if Mike Norvell's fired and Deion Sanders takes the job.
Yeah, I would think Deion. That's the elephant in the room, literally. When is he going to go to Florida State and try to resurrect his alma mater? My thing is this: if Scott Frost fails this year, Jake, is Nebraska salvageable? Who can take that job and revive them?
Yeah.
I still think they never should have left the Big 12, and that's the biggest mistake they made.
Yeah, I didn't understand leaving the Big 12 either. Nebraska's very salvageable, especially now with the transfer portal. I mean, it's made the ability to flip a place. And look, Nebraska has tradition. They have an unbelievably loyal fan base. They have the resources and the facilities. Now, the thing is, in my opinion, that they did go on from Scott Frost one of the greatest lines I think I've ever had since I started doing this about 2 years ago is you go from a Frost to a Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze is a guy. Jamie Chadwell is a guy. Kendall Briles is a guy. So, yeah, I think they're very salvageable.
What did you think, what do you think of all this stuff with the Big Ten right now? Oregon wanting in, the leadership of the California State trying to, I guess, prevent UCLA from making a move to the Big Ten. Man, it's just chaos.
Yeah, well, if UCLA leaves the Pac-12 and doesn't go to the Big Ten, that won't be the only homeless thing in California right now. But when you look at kind of what's going on,
yeah,
I'm starting to really get worried about this UCLA situation, to be honest with you. It could get really hairy because it's going to start to get political. And whenever it gets political, it gets ruined. And we all know how society is today and right now in the vitriol in that. But it's going to be interesting to watch. Oregon and Washington make a lot of sense to me. Obviously you look at the market, okay, but let's not act like Eugene is Los Angeles. But you are adding two brand names in college football that have both shown you they have the ability to not only compete, but play for a national championship. I mean, Washington, we talk about spending money on athletics. I don't think people realize Washington is top 5, top 7 spending money for athletics. We've seen them when they're good. So I would not be shocked to see Oregon and Washington go. What I'm interested, guys, is to see what happens with Cal and Stanford as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously, I think the Big Ten has some interest in adding more teams. I still think what's left of the Pac-12 will merge with the Big 12. That's what's going to be fascinating to me because I know this realignment is not done yet. But I wanted to ask you too, Jake, and we're talking to Jake Crane and Company, as we're previewing this coming college football season. I know that you went public with your top 5 yesterday. Is there anyone in that top 5 that you think is shaky, so to speak?
Well, kind of my biggest, I guess you would call it a stretch. I don't think it's a stretch because when you look at the schedule, I got Oklahoma at 4.
Right.
Yeah, they have all their big games at home. Obviously we know where they play Texas. But Dylan Gabriel meeting back up with Jeff Levy, I don't think enough people are talking about that. Dylan broke his collarbone last year. He's a heck of a quarterback. Marvin Mims averaged 22 yards per reception. I know they lost Mario Williams. I know they lost Caleb Williams. But you get Theo Weiss back, who was your number 2 guy in 2020. You have a nice stable of backs, including Eric Gray, the standout from Tennessee. Mm-hmm. The offensive line should be fine. And Brent Venables, I am not going to worry about a Brent Venables coach defense. The only thing where I'm interested to see, Jeff Levy goes fast. Jeff Levy wants to go really, really fast, former offensive coordinator at Ole Miss. I want to see how fast they're going to go with Brent Venables being a defensive coach. Because I love when stuff like this happens, when different identity meets different identity, not just on the field but in the coaching staff. Jeff Levy's an up-tempo offensive guy. Let's go fast. It puts a lot of pressure on your defense because you're asking your defense to stay out there for a lot more plays. Brent Venables, longtime defensive coordinator, you're not exactly in love with an offense that wants to use that system because it's really tough to go in a room and be like, hey, guys, if we give up 31, that's great. You never want to have that mindset. So I'm interested to see kind of their style of play and their pace of play. But when you look at their schedule and you look at the talent, I'm not sold on Texas. I don't think Baylor and Oklahoma State are sneaking up on anybody this year, even though they're going to be good. So I think Oklahoma may be the shakiest. I've got Clemson at 5, but Sam Hartman getting hurt at Wake really makes their path a lot easier.
Oh, that's a great point. And then how delicious would it be if Oklahoma was better than USC, though?
Oh, it would be way more delicious than the brisket Lincoln Riley tried to
cook. No question.
We were asking the question about Tennessee. We were talking about Tennessee earlier.
Yeah.
In the show.
See, I'm not sold.
And they have 4 big games. They've got LSU, they got Alabama, they got Georgia, and they got Florida on that schedule. They've got losing streaks, long losing streaks with all 4 of those. What are the chances that they stop 2 of those, not 1, but 2 of those losing streaks this year to 2 of those 4 teams?
I think they beat LSU in Florida. I got them going 5-3 in the conference for a couple reasons. Another thing, you're talking about pace of play with Tennessee. when you look at what happens when coaches go to the SEC, just somehow magically, amazingly, the offenses start to get slower. Gus Malzahn comes into the conference, literally wrote a novel on why it's important to go basically as fast as you can, and he got slower and slower and slower. Mike Leach comes in running the air raid as fast as anybody's ever run it. They're basically a ball control offense now. Lane Kiffin went fast, goes to Bama. Slows down a little bit as the OC, becomes a head coach, a lot slower than they used to go. Will Josh Heupel start to go the speed limit a little bit earlier in games to give that defense a little bit of a break? I would not be shocked. But you return Hendon Hooker, a quarterback who I think has a chance, him and KJ Jefferson, I'm really excited to see this year as quarterbacks in the SEC. You could see one of them get an invite to New York, not to win it. Bryce or CJ is going to win it probably, but get an invite. You look at Cedric Tillman, 1,000-yard receiver. The McGraw kid, I think, is talented. Offensive line, I know they're having to replace them, but they've supplemented guys on defense with a roster that was depleted. I think they go 5-3. I think Heupel continues to figure it out. I think he's smart enough to be malleable with the pace and be able to know that the book's kind of out on him after 1 year. So I'm buying 2 of those.
Well,
that's
some strong stuff from Jake Crane and Company. It was great to meet you guys once again and meet the whole crew in Atlanta at the SEC Media Days. You guys continue to grow your show. Congrats on the move to the AM. I know it's a little bit different, but hey, you got more time now to spend with your family. I know you're going to be married soon, so we congratulate you, my friend. I know you just got through buying a house as well. Continued success, and let everybody know how to connect with the new time slot and what you guys got going on.
Definitely, man. Well, I appreciate you guys. Always love coming on here. It was great catching up with y'all as well. Yeah, we're 6:30 to 8 Central in the morning. Go to YouTube, type in CRAIN and Company. Pretty sure y'all know how to spell that. You can find us live. It stays on there the whole time. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all that stuff. We got a bunch of content coming out. Sunday recaps coming back here in 2 weeks after week 1 of college football, even though I will never call it week 0. That will never make sense to me. There is no week 0. There is no patient 0. There is no pre-boarding on an airplane. You're just the first people to board, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all having me, and let's go watch some football.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jake. That's Jake Crane. Strong stuff.
Yeah. See, he's buying 2 of those 4.
Yeah,
he's buying 2, Florida and LSU. For
well, I
Tennessee
do think that's
win.
the 2 that he has the chance. They have the chance to win. I think I like LSU better than Tennessee this year. I still think coaching matters, and I still like Brian Kelly better than Josh Heupel, and I still think the game's in Baton Rouge, and that LSU can win that game.
So if you're a Tennessee
even with
fan,
Jaden Daniels, who might not be able to hit the wall, I know he was a little bit inaccurate at times, but I'm going to trust Brian Kelly on this one.
So if you're a Tennessee fan, and our esteemed producer, Smokey Mike, is a Tennessee fan, if we were asking Tennessee fans, Smokey Mike, if it was LSU and Florida, those are your 2 big wins, or Tennessee or Georgia or Alabama, are you satisfied with beating Florida and LSU and disappointed because you didn't beat Alabama and Georgia? Is that a letdown?
It depends on how the situation arises, because if you look at 2016 as a perfect example, beating Florida and Georgia the way that Tennessee did and then ended up not winning the East because of losing to Vanderbilt, that made it a disappointing season.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
Right. But if you beat Florida and you beat LSU, you already know that it's a tall order to beat Alabama and Georgia.
Man, I'm just telling you
right now. Are you happy, though, with you beating Florida and LSU?
Oh, 5-0 going into the 3rd Saturday in October, that would make Neyland Stadium rock that weekend.
Oh, it would. There's no question about that. But if they lose to Vandy again, Tony Basilio is going to drink himself under a table.
I don't see that happening. I think this Tennessee team is in a better spot.
I would think not.
I
mean, surely to goodness they're not going to lose to Vandy.
If Tennessee got off to a 5-0 start, I mean,
yeah, but
you're not buying stock.
People are
just
assuming they're going to beat Pitt.
That's a road game. That's a tough game.
Because Jordan Addison left to go to USC, to make the playoffs.
And Kenny Pickett is gone. Yeah. No, he's not there anymore.
Well, Keanon Slovis is though, and Addison should have been, but he left for money. Let's just understand that.
Come on, there was no tampering involved
Good
there.
Lord.
Lincoln Riley said they did not tamper.
Lincoln Riley.
I know what you wanted to say.
I'm not
what you wanted to say. I know. I was looking at you. I know exactly.
I know exactly what I want to say, and if I was on XM, I'd say it.
All right. You can say it during the break because we got to get that break in when we come back and wrap up the 2 hours of Talking Ball with your tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They have some congestion around 231 and Carringer Road. That's a medical emergency. Got a wreck with injuries on Kimberly Lou Boulevard at Slater Court. That's off Homer Nance. And we had one at Jordan and Oakwood with an overturned vehicle that they may still be trying to clear. The Cajun rice is back at Popeyes, and their 11-piece chicken family meal, 2 sides, 5 biscuits, is now only $22.99. Popeyes, University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
There goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Listen to the Tom Abraham Show.
And he loves fishing. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Philip.
I just wanted to call you and let you know I want to extend my condolences. I'm really sorry for your loss. The two that we're going to give you, one tonight and one tomorrow. If y'all have the kahunas to actually play.
Listen to the Big Dog, weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
job.
Hey friends, Eli Gold here for Environmental Comfort Systems. If you're concerned about the air quality inside your home, give my friend Rick Smith a call at Environmental Comfort Systems. Their indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of indoor air contaminants. Give the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and see how comfortable you can be. Breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
From the Nick Saban Show.
We talk about finishing. That's like the number one word.
To Alabama football.
Touchdown, Alabama!
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yeah, Jake Crane kind of alluded to it during that interview in that last segment. John Ruiz and the Miami, they have released a stadium architect design for Miami, for the Miami Hurricanes' proposed 60,000-seat football stadium in
Only
Tropical
60,000 seats because they can't fill them anyway.
In Coral Gables.
That'd be a nice little quaint stadium in the SEC. It'd be just a little bit bigger than Vandy.
Look, you were giving them a hard time because they don't have one near their campus. This would put them right there. It would put them right up there. So it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it'd be around Ole Miss and State, I guess.
Well, I mean.
Except Ole Miss and State would sell more tickets than Miami.
Remember, though, the trend in college football, they're not building them as big anymore because people aren't going as much anymore.
Well, I guess, but come on, give me a break.
mean, you can't.
When are they supposed to build this thing and where?
It's what they call, it's going to be in Tropical Park. It's going to be in Coral Gables. It's basically, if I'm reading all of this right and looking at the pictures, they're going to build like what the Atlanta Braves have done for Truist Park. They're going to build a stadium and build kind of like a battery around it of things to do and everything. And it's going to be this huge event thing. They're going to make sure that there's tons of tailgating space. There's going to make sure there's all kinds of things. They're setting it up. It's going to be in Tropical Park. It looks like it's somewhat close to campus, not specifically on campus, but it's a whole lot closer to where they're playing now.
Ruiz is building this whole thing, I guess.
Yeah, Ruiz is part of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's no shock.
Well, I mean, look, he's putting his money to positive things. All right, so just so that you can...
Where is Nevin Shapiro? That's all I want to say.
That dude was the first. I mean, that dude was NIL before NIL.
Big time.
He was it. I mean, that, yes, he was.
Yeah.
All right, here's something for you. You'll love this. Brett McMurphy, he loves throwing these things out there every now and then, and it's fun. Current coaches who started the year in AP's top 10 and finished season unranked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can remember Mike Dubose doing this back in the putrid days of 1990. Well, no, it was 2000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was too. That's when they went out to UCLA and just got demolished.
Just got whacked.
Yep. Anyway, Gus Malzahn's on this list twice because he's coaching at UCF. 2015 and 2018. Auburn started inside the top 10. They finished unranked. Brian Kelly did it in Notre Dame in 2016. Lane Kiffin at USC in 2012. James Franklin at Penn State in 2020. Mario Cristobal in Oregon in 2020. Now, he's in Miami. Matt Campbell at Iowa State did it in 2021. Mac Brown did it at North Carolina in 2021.
He did.
And then your boy, Jimbo Fisher. How many times do you think it's happened to Jimbo Fisher?
More than once.
And it's happened more than once. Do you care to take a guess on the 2 times that it has happened?
Yeah, 2017 and last year.
Yes. Florida State in 2017 and then Texas A&M in 2021. Remember, we were going over the top 10, and we said somebody in that list will finish unranked because it has happened every year. Somebody has finished unranked, at least one coach. And I guess you have put all your chips. Do you think Florida State, or not Florida State, well, that Texas A&M will finish unranked? Not.
Yes!
I was going to say I want you to think about it and seriously think about it.
I don't think 8-4 is going to get them ranked. And they might even figure out another way to not play in the bowl game, too. If he thinks he might lose. Be too busy trying to sign guys with NIL money, trying to save him again.
256-576-4977. That's the number of the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
Just not buying
You're just not buying 8-4. You can get in on the show.
They might get ranked 25th. I think they might. They might buy one of the sports writers.
Okay.
Buy some boats. They're good at buying things.
9-3, okay, for Texas A&M this year. 9-3.
Not according to Olin, who I respect a lot.
They have to go 10-2.
He said 10-2 or it's disappointing. Well, get ready to drink. If you're the ATM people. Not Olin, by the way. Olin doesn't drink.
If I told you Arkansas is going to finish second in the league.
Well, see, Jake Crane believes that. He's bullish on them going 10-2. I am not quite ready to do that. I could say 9-3 if everything goes well.
Right.
I think LSU is the second best team in the West. I'm still going with that. I'm still going with them beating Dirt Neck for the second straight year. I haven't said Dirt Neck the whole show until then.
What if Auburn finished second in the West?
Well, then Harson's certainly not getting fired.
Why
I don't
we
see
not?
him finishing second.
Okay.
But I don't see him finishing last either. I hope Dirt Neck does.
That's going to do it for our 2 hours of fun. We're going to be back at it tomorrow morning, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, same time, same place, same channel. Just like Batman back in the day.
Or hee-haw.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.